So today we are looking at the best strikers in FC26. We're going to go through all budgets. We're starting off with some of the free ones. I just kind of want to almost highlight them. I don't know if I've really ever seen any of these top ones. Obviously the likes of R9, Ibra, Henry, they would always be incredible to get. Everybody would have loved to get them. Totti throwing himself in the mix there, Morgan as well. And then also to show a little bit of solidarity for Eusebio. I've actually now come up against a few of him. It's scary that we can get him straight away. Now, obviously, he's not going to compare to a lot of the top icons. He's not going to compare to the Mbappes of the world and the absolute top strikers. Like, even Haaland has that just flair of being that 90 rated card. But for a 73 that you can get for just 100 games, I know it's 100 games, but realistically, the whole point of the brand new game is to play a lot. He's a very good one to get from the very get-go. Like, if you just said my first 100 matches were 100% to try and get Portuguese goal scorers to be able to get him, he's an easy bench striker. He's an easy striker if you don't necessarily have the coins. And I do think he's well worth grinding out. All of them are well worth grinding out, let alone for the Silver Cup that we are going to get at the end of the season, which more than likely is going to feature every single one of them silver superstars. And hopefully they do continue them. Something different to say the least. But we're going to just go straight onto the low budget now because the free cards, there's not a lot you can do with them. Bar from Eusebio, I got Jones as a centre-back who really has been kicked out of the team straight away, and they're upgrades. So if you're looking for coins, head over to eldorado.gg. There is huge amounts of verified sellers on Eldorado, and there is a money back guaranteed by TradeShield. If that's not enough, there is 24/7 live support and also plenty of reviews across websites that will definitely put your mind at ease. And as always, before you check out, make sure that you are using the code JT11 for 5% off every single order. Back to the video. Are going to be coming in November, I believe, so they just go even higher after that. But when we do look at the low budget, I'm kind of seeing a lot of the same faces now playing in a higher division rivals. You kind of go into your gauntlet. It's interesting to see where people's teams was, because normally where you kind of play somebody on their first team versus their third, you can normally tell the difference, and you see a lot of these players. You see a lot of the Spanish striker Ayoze. I don't even know how you pronounce his name. We're going to go with Perez. Now, obviously, he was very much a starter striker for a lot of people. He is great at what he does because of just how fantastic his ability is on the ball. Now, obviously, a lot of people are looking at the play styles, because if you've got strikers that don't have play style pluses yet, then looking at the silver or just the normal play styles is a massive bonus. If you're looking at strikers as well, stats that personally I like, naturally everybody will go pace, shooting, maybe a bit of physicality. The passing is kind of what comes towards an end game sort of striker more so than anything. But then you're looking at the composure, maybe agility, balance, a little bit of reactions. You're kind of seeing what the whole package is, and you kind of take a snapshot of something like this as a 4K striker and then put him against a 50, a 60, an 80k striker. The differences are pretty crazy. So just an interesting point to look at with him specifically. Obviously, you've got a few of the fan favorite names. Thuram in a Serie A build, very nice. I think Lookman is probably now just one under. I thought from a starter perspective, he was a nice option to go with. A little bit of pace, good shooting, dribbling is absolutely there, and he can play in the cam role. Now, we are seeing a lot more players, personally myself, using like a 4-2-1-3, I think I use. So it's going to be like a left wing, right wing, a striker, then having the cam and striker, but both of them are strikers. Like, I have Marmoush there, utilizing the shadow striker, and he does pretty well. Lookman's going to be another one that could play that role as that secondary striker that pushes forward. And obviously, then it comes to the playstyle pluses, the role pluses, whether they've actually got any ability there. Obviously, Lookman has none, so it's a little bit unfortunate that he doesn't, but it will come in the future. So definitely holding on to some of these cards is well worth if you have upgraded. Now, obviously, you've got a few of the Evos that I personally would say. Ronaldo, even at 12k, when he starts getting the Evos, it'll be the same as Messi. It'll be the same as how Neymar would have been. It's going to be an Evo central for him. He's going to max out his price. It's the same when you do look at like a left-wing Rashford. Right now, standard, nothing crazy. He can get a few goals in the lower divisions, but you go to division 3, 4, 1, 2, he's not going to be in the teams. Of course he's not. But once he starts getting up there, maybe he gets a little promo card. Maybe he does just get Evos all the way up. That is when he's going to be performing. And I think the same for Kolo Muani. He's got a great base across the board, good pace, shooting could do with the work, and that's where we start to see the upgrade. Hugo Ekitike, I think, is going to be another one. It started off well-ish. I think the pace could have been better. Shooting most definitely could have been better for an 83, in my opinion, but they've clearly made the card how it is, and to be honest, he will be a fan favorite in the game, guarantee it. When it comes to the end game, or even just mid-level cards, when he starts getting up to them 86, 88, 90, he is going to be a fantastic one, and being French, it just modes well very much into the game of FC. They are always going to be there. If then we throw it into the mid, now personally one of my favourite strikers in Marmoush is only 23,000. If you was going to buy any striker and you just want to upgrade, maybe you're on the low tier, maybe you've just not found a striker that works for you, even in these sort of tiers, Marmoush is outstanding. A very good finisher, good pace, on the ball is fantastic. He is a well worth card in my opinion as a mid to kind of going up there sort of level. And I think when I've come up against him a little bit more than actually played with him, Openda's definitely been that same sort of level. The pace is just crazy for him. He's even got a bit of the physicality, which is really nice. The dribbling is where his kind of downfall comes into it. He can feel a little bit clunky on the ball, which to be honest, some strikers can. They maybe have everything going for them, but it's just the one stat. That's the whole point of finding your striker. Martinez is a great example. Dribbling off the charts, great shooting, physicality up there, but the pace, even at 81, sometimes feels that little bit slow. He gets caught very, very easily. And obviously defending has become more almost low block, kind of just put everybody behind the ball and just hope that you manage to make the tackle and counter. So you've got to kind of go around it. A lot of people are utilizing the wings, which would be another video looking at the best wingers we can. But having the striker that deals the most damage for you is going to be very important, very much like how Kane is. Now obviously with Kane we will talk about his inform in a little bit. A +6 on the pace is great. This card is still usable. It may not be the absolute GOAT in terms of a striker right now, like 23,000. I don't think he's going to be in a crazy amount of teams. But if you utilize a hold-up striker, somebody that can get on the ball, holds it up, and you wait for faster players, you wait for another player to give him assistance, if you can find him in space, inside, outside the box, he's going to score 92 shooting if you can get the space. Now, that's the whole point with him, why he's not crazy priced, because he's not everybody's game style. He's not my game style. I hate hold-up strikers. I am counter-attack, run at everybody, skill whatever you can. If you lose the ball, you lose the ball. And he's not going to work that for me. Now, obviously, a team of the season is a little bit better. He gets a bit more pace, and he works it. And I think it's where someone like Dzeko could potentially do that movement. He's got a little bit more on the pace side of stuff. Obviously, his physicality and shooting is up there. He did get a massive upgrade of 26 pace, very much like we saw with Renard in the centre-back for Cornerstones. It definitely makes him more relevant. Now, obviously, if you're not running a Serie A team, it's going to be harder to link if you don't have heroes, if you don't have icons. It's going to be a tricky one for him, but naturally, he would be a great Gauntlet team player. We've seen a lot with the English Cam, I can't remember his name, for Dortmund, that as a... Was it a world superstar? I wanted to say it was a world tour superstar. Cheap, affordable, you can get into the Gauntlet team. People's teams are now not necessarily just their first, and if you are looking to do the Gauntlet, we could see 3 rounds, we could potentially see 5 or 10 rounds if they decide to really make it. And I think that personally would be a phenomenal thing to have. If you had 10 rounds of Gauntlet, the amount of different teams that you'd have to make, I think would be a good side for certain members of the FIFA community. Not everybody's going to enjoy that. I can totally understand. If you're trying to make the best 1 team, why would you try and make the best 10? But if you think about it more for later on in the game where we have so many cards, it would be nice to maybe to protect a couple of them, keep them in the squad. I just think that personally fits my sort of play style where you can try different players. It doesn't always have to just be one. Then obviously we look around. A few of the women in the game are doing pretty well as well. Obviously got a few playstyle pluses coming in. Katoto, her stats are very misleading because she is very good on the ball. She's just an absolute powerhouse when it comes to going through. I think Russo would definitely be around the same. And Pajor was the same last year. I felt like she had a bit more impact on the start last year, but she's still somebody in the Liga F, in the Barca team, that can most definitely definitely have that sort of effect on a team. Then obviously Alvarez is coming in as the more higher budget in this one. He's kind of missed out on the previous team that we'll show you next. Again, another nice striker that I think is a game clincher. I don't think he's somebody that will single-handedly take you into the next round to take you into that win, but if you give him half a chance, he's going to score it, which I think is massive. So if you have a team around him that work really well, there is certain strikers that can do it on their own. There's certain strikers that if you have a solid team, he's going to be exponentially better, in my opinion. So he is definitely an upgrade. I would say I'd possibly looking at him cheaper. I don't think with the next category, with 76,000 on his head, I might want to buy him a little bit cheaper, in my opinion. But again, when you do look at the kind of 20s around him and even then like the 50s, it kind of makes you think, well, I could definitely get away with like a Marmoush and an Openda, a Marmoush and a Martinez. They are going to be a pairing that is very nice. Even then, if you wanted Martinez and him, if you get him cheaper, it would be very interesting. Which then we move into a mid sort of level. Now, obviously, I've thrown heroes in here. We've got a few of them from the Max 86, which is nice. And naturally, the better price strikers are going to be coming at the end. I've not done it necessarily in order of the most value meta players. It's kind of based on price, and I've picked some of them that I do really like, and then obviously some that are just going to be incredible. You look at the top list, you could probably rattle off 5 names instantly. But when we do look at the heroes, they all have that same ability. The pace is a little bit more upgraded, the shooting is a bit better, the dribbling is fantastic. More than likely you'll find a 3-4, a 4-4. I don't know if there's many 5-5s in the striking role. That would be an interesting one to see. But naturally, as you go up, you will see these levels of heroes that are going to be decent right now. I wouldn't necessarily buy them. Like, I'd happily go out and buy a Haaland, an Isak, a Gyökeres, because I know the price is going to dip. Like, of course it's going to. But if you buy Forlan right now at 315, 317, in a month it could be 100. At least with Haaland, 145 is in a month. I'm hoping that he's going to be at least over 50k still. So realistically, the difference in what you lose is absolutely massive, and especially when we do go up one more into some of them heroes that are very good, but you'd probably say the price tag is a little bit overpriced because it's the start of the game. Would you really put that much of an investment in there unless you have got printing coins? But if we do look at the gold cards in general, I do think from what I've kind of played with so far, Isak I would have thought would have been number 1. If you literally showed me these free cards, showed me the stats, maybe the Playstyle Pluses, if you showed me them as well, I would have guaranteed that Isak would be number 1. There wouldn't have been a question. I would have thought maybe, yes, the pace could be a little bit better, seeing as though Haaland is 86 as well. I do think Isak is a little bit faster, but clearly they're making the ratings work. Shooting is phenomenal for him. The Finesse Shot Plus is an absolute joke. But when you use the likes of, and to be honest, we'll just go straight into it. When you use the likes of Gyökeres, he is outrageous. Like, I can see why his price going up against him and playing with him. He is an absolute joke when it comes to going forward. He's quick. He's an absolute bully with that physicality. His shooting is impeccable. I really don't want this card to get a Finesse Shot Plus, because if he gets that as the next Playstyle Plus along, it's absolute game over. He is absolutely brilliant in front of goal. So I just kind of, I did think when I did see him as the top price striker for, I mean, he's 87. Like, you get players that are obviously lower rated but are absolutely incredible, but I could imagine him being over Haaland because sometimes the game type just doesn't really work him. He's actually a solid card in the game as well this year. Last year I didn't really find that there was ever any need for Haaland. This year I can definitely see it off the bat. Like, he's coming in cheaper and cheaper each time, and I think he's definitely going to be well worth absolutely looking for, especially if you're running a Prem team. These are the free strikers that you are going to want to look at. Naturally, we are going to see a bit of a downwards trend, whether we see anything on the kind of upturn, just because we have got champs this weekend. And I won't completely diminish Isak's ability. He is my striker at the moment until I do make the move into Gyökeres. I kind of do want to go back to him personally. It was just the fact that he is 60k cheaper and he's still very good as a medium level div player. Like, I'm not in Division 1, so I don't need the best of the best, but it gives me an opportunity where I don't potentially lose some. I was kind of hoping he would drop that little bit more, but he seems to be absolutely on flying form. And then we do have the likes of Harry Kane, like we've already suggested. 6 on the pace is absolutely massive for a card like that. Even if it is only 70 that you see right now, that's making a tremendous difference, because then the next upgrade could be a bit more, and the next upgrade after that. He is going to be a great striker striker in the end game. I've got no worries that that's not going to happen. But I think right now, he's a card that I personally would look at, and I'd definitely look at the market for him. 114 might be a bit expensive for what I'd be looking at, especially, like I said, if we could stretch our budget to a Gyökeres or a Haaland, or even just go straight out for Isak. I think for the right now, he's the better striker, but Kane is definitely on the rise there, in my opinion anyway. So then we move up into a kind of a lot more of a price budget here now. Now, Wilson obviously will come into here. If you've ever used her in any FIFA, Sophia Smith, if you're kind of not familiar, she's outrageous when it comes to going through. Pace is absolutely a joke. Shooting is a joke. Dribbling is a joke. The composure is the one thing to look at this year. Now, I don't think it makes that much of a difference to her. In my opinion, I still think she is just crazy in front of goal. Almost like how Hansen was 2 years ago. She was way above any right wing. Salah was not even on her level at that point. It took, obviously, the team of the season. It took the team of the years. And even then, she got her own to really kind of put them anywhere close. This year, I think Wilson is going to be one of them strikers, especially if you are looking at kind of your left wing, right wings as like a Swanson-Rodman sort of pairing. They are a very nice pairing that you can obviously get as cheap as anything, and you put the big bucks on the striker. She's just absolutely worth every penny. Now, obviously, a lot of people will probably go against the 374. It's fair enough. You could buy Gyökeres and Haaland for the price. So I can see why maybe we wait until she's a little bit lower on the price, but I think that might take a little bit of time. We do then have Haaland, who's managed to get himself his inform, which is always nice. 530 compared to the 150. In terms of the stat upgrades, I mean, we've not really got too much different, to be honest. We've got the Advanced Forward plus, we've got the Low Driven plus, 3-star. Other than just paying for a new card, you're not really getting too much different. It's just a very hard card to get. He's most definitely going to be one of the more expensive cards for a long time as well, because he's going to be unique. He's going to be very difficult to get, and it will be interesting as well when Mbappe's Player of the Month does come in, if that is today, because I kind of want to see what that does to the striking market, because everybody is going to be looking, is there a chance that we could do it? I don't know. I feel like it will be expensive if it is going to be a 91 or 92 Mbappe, for instance. He's just got to be expensive, so it's going to be the only elite level that managed to actually get him. But Haaland obviously is just a joke in any team. Then we obviously throw in a few of the heroes icons, kind of like a Van Persie. I think he's a wonderful card. Same with Cha Bum Kun. The 680, you're not paying that. Like, you're just not getting that value back. Where we do look in the kind of top end, where we do look at the Henrys, the Ibras, you can kind of understand the pricing, because that pricing is still going to be crazy. I guarantee in a month's time, Van Persie is nowhere near 565k. Unless they go absolutely to the nail on this slower power curve, and nobody gets anything decent from rewards. There is nothing that really ups the ratings. He is not going to be 565k. So why would you lose it? Unless you are building a Michael Owen, a Zola, a Van Persie, past and present, and he has to be in it, there is no reason for you to buy him. At this price anyway. But that being said, if you manage to pack him untradeable, if you manage to pack him alone, I still think if you do pack him tradable, I would absolutely be selling him. But if you do get him untradeable, I mean, he's still going to be Van Persie. He's still going to get you a lot of goals. It's just the comparison on the value of the strikers that will be interesting. And then we move up. Like Dembele, I mean, it's an exceptional talent. Obviously, right wing, cam striker, got plenty of ability across the board. He can play that versatility role that I do think is absolutely wonderful as a gold card. And obviously, Mbappe will be coming as well. Inside forward plus, so he's going to be more of a winger, but I do respect the striking ability from him as well. He's going to have the pace, the shooting's up there, the dribbling's absolute top tier. He's going to be an absolute problem when it comes to going in front of goal. You're going to be very difficult to stop him. Which then we look at kind of your million coin now icons. Obviously Totti being brand new. We've got Di Natale, who's always incredible. Torres, Drogba, Cantona. I'm not going to go over them too much because I feel like everybody should know these icons. They've been in the game long enough for you to know who should be in this top debate. I think Raul, this year with the finesse shot again, is going to be one of the topper icons. And it will be interesting to see where people do drop in a month. And we will come back to these, obviously, to see where they do stand. So bookmark this video. And then when we do do get a new one, I will kind of run through quickly the price difference between each level as well. And then obviously, these are what everybody aspire to. These are the absolute creme de la creme, the top icons, the top heroes, the top strikers in the game. If you manage to get anybody on this list, you're pretty much set for Team of the Year, Team of the Season, probably even Endgame at this point, because they are just incredible. R9 will be Endgame to the very end. He is every single year. That's without a debate. Mbappe will be Endgame until Team of the Season. There's just no debate that he isn't. He is absolutely outrageous. I used him in draft because obviously I don't have 3.1 mil. The interesting part will be the player of the month with him. Watch this space for him. Make sure you subscribe and we will go over if he does get a player of the month. Well, I mean, he is confirmed to. How do we actually complete him? Because that's going to be the hardest point for anybody at this point. But any of the other icons, Eto'o, Puskás, Henry, the brand new Ibra, Dalglish, you say, they're all going to be incredible. I mean, you just can't not enjoy these cards, and they're not going to be cheap by any means in the next month or so. You look at them. Maybe Eto'o, he normally drops off first, or maybe even Dalglish potentially, but Henry isn't, Eusebio isn't, Ham certainly isn't. Morgan could be interesting just because she's brand new, but even then I think they've set her up to be pretty phenomenal in the game. So that is going to be the list. Let me know who you're running as a striker combination. Are you going for a single, double? Are you going for a striker and a cam kind of partnership? Leave it down below. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see what Cornerstones Team 2 brings for us today. Peace, and enjoy your weekend league.